And hello, welcome back to the Gay Racing Podcast. Alex, you were just jamming to this music. What happened?
I'm still jamming. What are you talking about? I was locking in for the start of the show.
You look like a jellyfish moving back and forth. I gotta get in sync with you. Oh no, you froze. Yes. Anyways.
Oh. Yeah, don't freeze.
I can't. I want my mirror. It's like my camera's not mirrored, so I can't do it. Hi, y'all. Welcome back to the Gay Racing Podcast. I promise we actually do talk about racing. Most of the time. And, you know, we only have one race to talk about today, being Talladega, NASCAR at Talladega. Alexander, I foresee that we have a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do, Zack.
It wasn't...
We got plenty to talk about.
Well, it was a straightforward Talladega race until it wasn't. Like, it doesn't even feel like one of those races that was, like, really good and it unravels at the end. It doesn't even feel like that kind of race. I think it's just... There's so much tension in the sport right now for reasons. And maybe that's part of it. It's also the playoffs. So like any little thing happening is just kind of a big deal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a lot to go through. Obviously, you know, we're going to start with Ricky Stenhouse winning in a minute. The biggest crash ever in NASCAR happening. NASCAR's officiating being inconsistent. Surprise. Spoiler alert. Some of the four-wide racing, taking a look at the playoffs as we head into the Roval. And, of course, we're going to talk about the lawsuit happening with 2311 in front row. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we got to go. Stop yapping. We got to
okay, I'll shut up. No, I won't. Good luck. Good luck making me shut up. So, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. got... he won yesterday in the third photo finish of 2024. He got his fourth career win. All of them have been at Daytona and Talladega. And he was in that three-wide photo finish with Brad Keselowski and William Byron. And now 18 drivers have won in 2024. Half of the full-time field. And again, it's another non-playoff driver winning a playoff race. I mean, that's the third one in 5 races. I don't know if that's a record. Like,
I'm not sure.
I don't think this has happened. There's no way, because this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little not deflating.
Ridiculous. Like, Ricky Stenhouse, he's a Daytona 500. Sorry, it pains me to say this. He's a Daytona 500 champion. Whatever that means. And he's obviously very specialized in super speedway racing. Mm-hmm. He knows what he's doing. He put himself in position to avoid that wreck and win the race. He had a great help from other Daytona 500 champion William Byron. Oh, they were working together. That's kind of cool. So, yeah, I guess it makes sense. You know, it does. It just, you know, did I have any reaction to Ricky winning that race? No.
This was the most underwhelming photo finish of the year.
Okay.
And in a while. But, like, I'm not complaining about that because I'd rather have that than 20 overtimes, right? We had a long red flag that was filled with drama. Imagine if we get going and we have overtime on several overtimes on top of that. It would have been depressing.
That would have been frustrating, yeah.
In my opinion, I thought this was actually a solid race. If you take out the ridiculous red flag and how long that took, this was a pretty good race, in my opinion. And even if the finish was kind of like, whatever, I'd much rather take that than 5 overtime restarts and just keep crashing the field.
And I think it was interesting because, again, you really didn't have any clue on who was going to win this race until basically after the final pit stops. Because while everyone is fuel saving and stuff, that merge and the green flag stops, that is the moment of the race. And it's part of super speedway racing that I really enjoy. And I love when these races go green and we get to see green flag pit stops. And we saw, I mean, guys like Stenhouse and Byron lead their, Chevrolet lines. And we saw Cindric and Keselowski and Logano lead their Ford lines. And from then they were basically gridlocked, but still it was fun to see, the battles and the intensity, the battles of the pushing and the intensity picking up as we kind of came closer to lap 188. But I love how, that didn't feel like a photo finish yesterday. Maybe it's because it was at Talladega and that's just what we expect. That's probably what it.
they've been happening so often at Talladega. Like pretty
with
much
this
all of
car.
Blaney's wins have been like that. And I think that goes to show like exciting finishes, although they're cool, they can get kind of tiring at a point. So
Well,
hopefully NASCAR, takes a hint and be like, oh yeah, maybe we don't need to do this everywhere. But
well, it's
you know,
also more. Well, that's a good point what you said, but it's two lines of cars that can't really clear each other. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense that Keselowski did clear Stenhouse, and we should actually talk about that. Like the fact that Keselowski didn't go for the block, like which it shows the evolving of these drivers because blocking was the thing. Like in 2021, the Daytona 500, that Joey wrecked himself and Brad. Brad there realized if I block here, I'm either getting wrecked or he's just going to go around me and I definitely won't even win, right?
yeah.
Brad did the smart thing. He stayed in line and he almost actually still won. If Larson would have gave him a bit more of a push, that's it. Brad wins. So
Hmm.
it's just one of those things where he just wasn't in the better line. But I'm glad to see that Brad's kind of showing, hey, you don't need to block because parallel to what happened in the spring with McDowell. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and in the moment, I was kind of surprised more people didn't try going because earlier in the race, we had seen them going four wide, right? So we knew they could go four wide. And when Kyle Busch went out to make a run, I thought someone was going to go with him. No one did. He did have a Toyota behind him and Eric Jones. So there's probably a lot of manufacturer chatter going on that kind of prevented something like that happening. But it just kind of goes to show that maybe what we saw in stage one wasn't exactly what we thought it was in the moment. We'll talk about that maybe in a bit.
Yeah,
But
definitely because
overall, though, like
it's
I don't know. I like this race, but after letting it sit for a while, I'm just kind of like,
it was
okay.
another Talladega race with this next gen car, super speedway race, and Kyle Busch had no chance. With these next gen cars, and like the more I've like played with it on iRacing, like if you pull out a line, there's just so much drag on the cars. You slow down so much. Like you need so much help to where by pulling out a line, you're just not going to get it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess he did it because Kyle obviously he's going for W's, and that was his only chance. That, to be fair, that was his only chance of getting a W, perhaps. So whatever. He doesn't really care.
And so let's talk about the big crash, the biggest one, get the big elephant out of the room. 28 cars involved, as you said earlier, Zach, largest crash in NASCAR history per the NBC Sports graphic. I saw some people saying there are other bigger wrecks. I'm just going off what NBC said.
I'm thinking it must be modern era because I feel like there was a huge wreck at Darlington this one year, like in the 50s or something. Or I don't
Probably.
know.
Not sure, but this crash was caused by a stack up with Austin Cindric getting spun from the lead, and poor Austin Cindric, man, was leading this race. I think he probably had the best car, and it just collects pretty much the whole field. The field was lapping Todd Gilliland, who, not his fault at all. He was out of the way. Just a bad push. Cindric got out too far ahead. Buescher got back up to him. Buescher got a push, sent Buescher into Cindric, and it just sent Cindric around. To me, this was just a super speedway thing. Not much you can do about that.
Okay,
Most of the playoff guys were involved. Yeah, Zach?
I just looked up that crash stat. I think it's the biggest in the Cup Series because on Wikipedia, so this could just be wrong, but 31 cars were in a crash in the 2002 Busch Series race at Talladega. So
okay.
It might just be I don't know. That's weird. Again, it's Wikipedia. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay. Thank you.
Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're all good. I appreciate it.
Okay.
So most playoff drivers were involved in this crash, and it changed the whole championship dynamic. We'll talk about that when we get to the playoff standings. But no flips. I think before the rule change they made, or maybe earlier in the year, the 2-car might have gotten airborne or maybe flipped. Didn't happen. We'll see. NASCAR's aero adjustment they made, it was originally going to go over the windshield, by the way. We didn't talk about that last week because it wasn't confirmed, but there are rumblings about that was on the roof instead. I don't know if it made a difference, but no cars flipped at all in the whole weekend.
It didn't
So I
seem to
think-
make too much of a difference in the racing. I mean, yes, we saw that 4 wide, but as we'll get
Yeah, you
into,
and I were discussing if the 4 wide in stage 1 was because of that, but we've kind of come
I
to
don't think a
different
roof
conclusion.
rail is gonna do
I
that.
wouldn't think so.
I don't think it would
Yeah.
do anything, to be honest with you, except I don't even know. I'm gay.
And by the way, if a car did flip, like if let's say Austin Cindric did flip, flips are going to happen, especially at super speedways. So again, I really think this whole thing is an overreaction.
I was waiting for another wreck to happen, and after everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, the roof rail is working! No one flipped in this big crash." I was waiting for someone to flip.
That happened at Daytona. It literally happened at Daytona.
Because y'all open your mouths. Now someone's gonna be flipping, and it's probably gonna be Corey LaJoy if he's still in the race. I don't even know if he wasn't. I don't even know who wasn't in the wreck. I just know it was like whatever. Anyways,
28 of the 36 or whatever.
Yeah.
But guys, I think my favorite part of this race and why I kind of lean toward liking it is because there was only one big crash. You know, the big one, as they like to market it for Talladega. It was only that one big crash. Like, yeah, you had the crash at the end of stage 2. That wasn't really a big crash. You had a big one. And that is what Talladega used to be known for. It was like, there's always going to be one big crash.
Yes.
And you get that, nothing else. You're not going to get like 5 big ones. And I feel that brings some sanity back to Talladega a bit. And I appreciate that.
Well, what? No, hold on. Alex, there are 28 cars in this wreck.
It's a big crash.
I see what you're saying.
It's okay.
It's just like, I don't know if it brings the sanity back just because of the volume of the wreck. And like,
I don't care. I
don't know. I mean, did you not watch what race was it? Any super speedway race this year that wasn't Atlanta? I don't know. I kind of agree with you. Because like in Xfinity and trucks, like they'll have a bunch of smaller wrecks, but man, they have so many of them.
Right.
And it's always like at 7:00 at night when the race should have ended an hour ago. Like, you know, so I see what you're saying.
Is it a good look for 28 cars to get involved in the crash? No, but also it's super speedway racing. There's nowhere to go. You have so little time to react. By
design,
me, it's like
that's
whatever.
Supposed to happen. That is supposed to happen by design.
So
yes.
For me, it's kind of like, well, at least there's only happened one time and not like 5 times like they tend to happen lately.
Yeah, because then it just looks like, stupid when they just keep wrecking and keep wrecking and keep wrecking. Like, it's so dumb.
So it really makes the threat of a big crash, a singular big crash, the threat of that feels so much greater when the one actually happens rather than 10.
Yeah.
And it makes what Denny Hamlin did staying in the back at the end there feel much more rewarding because you're like, hey, that wreck hasn't happened yet. But then if you look at Atlanta, it's just a bit different, you know, because Atlanta is a little different than Daytona, Talladega.
It's kind of like with Xfinity, because Xfinity cars are more spread out, even at Talladega. Like, it's just, so any wrecks that kind of happen, they're just not as big because cars have more room. And again, I don't know when we're talking about Denny Hamlin. We'll talk about him later, but we'll talk about it later. Let me shut my mouth. I am shutting up.
Well, since you're shutting up,
well, you have a spare moment where you can talk.
Yes. Let's talk about someone else who should probably shut up, and that is NASCAR officiating because, it's rough. It's rough, Zach.
Yeah.
I don't... after what happened with Josh Berry at Kansas, NASCAR was like, yeah, we could have done that a little better. And then they go in here and they somehow did worse. So... because of this big crash, the 28 car crash, they needed a lot of tow trucks, a lot of push trucks out there to get these cars moving. Because, a lot of them had flat tires, right? Because this car, they get the flat tires and they can't move. And the rule is that if you can't get to pit road on your own, you're out of the race. Well, we thought that because several cars, playoff cars specifically, who could not get back to the pits on their own ability.
Who had
damage.
Yeah. Like they were damaged. I mean, Chase Elliott, his whole front of the car was dragging the ground.
So they pushed some cars back to the pits, like the 9. But then Chase Briscoe is back there and his team's yelling at him, do not get out of your car. Do not let them take your window net down. Because if you do that, if you put your window net down and you get out of your car, you're done. Like, that's also part of the rule.
They told Chase Briscoe to keep his hand on the window net latch. I can't imagine what that looked like. Like, just like, it's like a little child that won't get up, that won't listen to you, basically. Like, that's so funny to me.
And the part that's most egregious to me here is that NASCAR went from a red flag to a yellow flag, but then the pace car did not move. But the cars that were able to get to push to the pit, such as the 9 at Chase Elliott, they basically got time under red because the pace car was not moving, not under threat of getting a lap down, got to work on the car and fix it for quite a long time while other cars were still parked over in turn 3 because they weren't getting a push or whatever to the
Yeah, they would have gotten
pits.
lapped. They should have gotten lapped. Like, that's unacceptable. And it's kind of showing like how
stupid,
unorganized, or just, I don't know what the word is. Like, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
You're a racing series. How do you throw, because you throw the yellow flag back out, but then you realize, oh wait, we weren't ready for the yellow flag, but we'll just keep it out anyways. Well, why did you throw it in the maybe make sure that it's not like the tow trucks just magically appeared back on the racetrack.
Right.
Like, what is going on? That's unacceptable. This is a mess. It's I almost don't even want to talk about it. Like, because it just it's frustrating. And it was the whole thing. The whole thing that anyone could talk about last week is why Josh Berry had to be out of the race, because he had a little bit of contact and flat tires. And Elton Sawyer, who I'm tired of seeing this man. I'm so tired of seeing this man. I bet he's a nice man, but I'm tired of seeing him. Says some dumb, so stupid. He says, well, the damaged vehicle policy is not intended to take good cars out of the race. Well, sweetheart, that's all it's been doing with this next-gen car for the past almost 3 years.
Yeah.
You've had plenty of time to figure something out with this next-gen car. I guess. I guess not. I don't know.
And Elton Sawyer did go on to say that the damaged vehicle policy will remain throughout the rest of this season, but officials will be examining the policy in the off-season. Who knows if they'll change anything.
Well,
but it needs reworked.
What does that mean? Because they already changed it. Apparently.
They already have. Yeah.
And
not officially, but they
And it's
did.
stuff like this, which, of course, Chase Elliott was one of the cars that benefited. Stuff like that. And wasn't Alex Bowman also repairing damage?
I don't remember, but
I think I heard Bowman was also repairing damage, and of course.
Look, I'm not a NASCAR benefits Hendrick conspiracy theorist, but it is not a good look when specifically the 9 gets this treatment to go in there. There's already a lot of conspiracy theories about that.
I can't blame them.
Why would they go and help the 9 specifically? Like, whether it's intentional or not, you are just setting yourself up for failure, NASCAR. I don't understand why. Like, what are you doing? Like, at the very least, Zach, what they should have done is stick to the awful rule. The 9's DNFs, 14 DNFs. Just stick to the awful rule rest of the year and then change it in the offseason. Why are they changing this mid-season, middle of the playoffs?
I think it's
without any official warning.
I honestly think it's because of the outcry from last week, and they thought that they were doing the right thing. I mean, obviously, listen, they can't even throw the yellow flag correctly, so there's something cognitively going on up there. Like,
it's frustrating.
It is. It
cannot be this difficult. It really does not.
We could run a race better. Yeah. Girl, we're not ready to put the yellow flag out. Put that away. Yeah. Girl, you're not getting a tow back, Chase. No, Chase, girl, put the window net down. I'm going to ask you one more time. Put the window net down. Hook him up, boys. Hook him up. He ain't getting out. Hook him up.
That scene from Cars. I can still race.
That was Chase Elliott trying to drive his car back to the pits because they gave him a little push and his car is literally like scraping the ground.
Get that thing off the road, bro.
Get it off the road. What are we doing? This goofy sport. So DVP will remain through the season, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Depends how they interpret the rules. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And then on top of that, apparently the Roush 6 car, Brad, he didn't have the new arrow piece, was on the roof at the end of the race. Apparently it fell off.
Who said that on Twitter?
So that might be, is that like a
it was
tech?
Nick Bromberg put that on Twitter.
But is that like, do you not fail tech when that happens? Or is this like, is it from he wasn't in a crash, I don't think. I don't know. So that's
he
weird.
Finished second. Or no.
Then,
yeah, he did finish second, didn't he?
Yeah. He finished second. And then the 47 was missing some foam after the hit from Cindric in that crash on the driver's side. And it's a rule to have all the foam in there too, but the 47 got to finish the race.
Yep. I saw what looked like to be like some kind of crew member. He made a tweet. I lost it at this point, but they tweeted that they've been asked many a times before that their car cannot resume the race because of they were missing foam.
That's a safety hazard. Yeah.
Now, because common sense, okay, Stenhouse's car was fine. It was perfectly safe. But again, if you have a rule, you have to follow it all the time. You can't just be like, nah, I ain't gonna do it today. Then it's not a rule.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Frustrating, because I really think this is an okay race, Zach, but this is all anyone's going to talk about is that part.
And I don't blame them though, because
no, I don't.
The racing had interesting parts, but it's just still a next gen super speedway race, which it's growing a little old. It's kind of a little two-dimensional.
Well, let's talk about that stage one. We've alluded to it a couple times now. Lots of 4 wide racing. You and I were texting like, this is so cool. This is kind of exciting. But upon reflection, they were probably just fuel saving, right?
They were.
But at the same time, it was still pretty cool. It was cool.
It felt intense though. It didn't seem like they were saving fuel because it felt intenser than it was. I don't know why. Maybe TV was just hyping it up so much.
Maybe Lee Diffie is just that good.
Because I was glued to my TV because I thought they were about to wreck. And it was getting to where the stage was kind of coming to a close, but I checked back the highlights this morning. As soon as it was a few laps to go, they just went back to double file when they hit the gas.
Yeah.
So,
And something I noticed in that part of the race is that NBC was doing so many commercials because every race was on screen for green flag, right? But they would do a lot of side by side. And I was like, man, this is kind of annoying. But nothing was really happening. So it's just they went to commercial because what else could
they were side by side commercials though, right?
Yeah.
Why are you complaining?
My point is just I want to be able to watch the race in full screen, more. It's they were going to side by side quite a lot.
I'm gonna beat you up.
Okay, come on, let's do it.
I'm gonna fight you. Why are you complaining about? Someone found how? Why are you complaining?
I felt like it was a little too excessive, but I'd rather have that than full screen. My point is that they were doing that, it felt like at times, because the TV booth had nothing else to talk about. Wow, it's so impressive these guys are 4 wide. And they kept saying the same thing, right?
That's true, because nothing was happening.
That was, that's my point.
Nothing was happening. They're just in a formation. I mean,
it looks cool, and I think it was cool.
I thought it was cool at first. The second time it happened, I was like, okay, well.
But so then we were discussing, Zach, yesterday. Were they trying to get points? Is this the impact of the new roof thing they added? But again, we really do think they were just saving fuel. Yeah. So,
which still doesn't make sense to me though, because if you were saving fuel, you would not want to jump out of line and.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to them saving fuel. I think that's fine, right? And people will hate the single file train, the choo-choo that people will talk about. But it's whatever. I'd rather that than they keep wrecking, you know?
I don't know. I think there's definitely a way to, because like we don't really see that at Atlanta though. Atlanta is less
Atlanta's
fuel
so
saving, I
good.
think, and like they're actually racing because your car handling matters. You can actually pass people
Mm-hmm.
if your car is handling good. Like handling matters. We need to get back to where super speedway racing is still a race. Like it's still,
Yeah.
you still have to drive your car because it's not really like that at this point in
Yeah.
Cup. I feel like so. I don't know.
Well, that's stage one. Let's talk about stage two, the finish of that. Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman. Who is at fault for that incident?
Oh yeah, it didn't look
Because
like that hard of a push. It really
so
didn't.
Blaney had lost like little group he was in. I forget which lane he was in, but he like went in. He had a big gap, and Bowman quickly caught him, and it sent Blaney
Yeah,
around.
I think they
So
went. They went. Yeah, they went around Blaney to get a position for the stage,
yeah.
and then Bowman's just in the middle. Like, well, I gotta get because
I have nowhere to go.
Well, Bowman can't check up because he's a playoff driver.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to get stage points. If he checks up a
Yep.
lot, I mean, and again, what I said earlier, when these cars get out of line, as soon as Blaney got dumped, or rather got, as soon as that line did not go with him, it's a parachute. He's slowing down so much. I mean, Bowman can only do so much in that situation, and it really did not look like a big bump. I know
No.
Ryan said he felt like Bowman drove through him. I don't know if he saw the replay before he said that.
Yeah, I don't agree with Ryan on that. I don't think Alex Bowman necessarily did anything wrong. Bowman did take blame for the incident.
Yes. Like, I guess it is Bowman's fault, but I don't know if he really did anything wrong, you know?
Right. To me, this is just a super speedway thing. Because, like, again,
and it
especially
sucks.
with these cars, a big push, your car's just... We saw the same thing with Austin Cindric.
Yeah.
A big push is just going to send your car around right now.
Like, that
and
shouldn't...
it happened for years.
It shouldn't have happened. And normally these cars can take a really big push. It's just, I think with that, the tri-oval is the most sensitive part of the track for these cars because they're turning, but they don't have the banking. So the cars get light. And I guess that just must be what it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just sucks because that should not have caused a wreck. It really shouldn't. So.
And
super speedway racing.
And now let's turn over to the playoffs now. Take a look at the points for all that. Because it was really different at lap 185 into what the actual results were. And I would say Ryan Blaney had the biggest shift and everything. Because for audio people, we have a little graphic up here that shows the points.
Look at this.
This is cool.
Look at this layout. This is cute.
We have
thank you, NASCAR.
Yes, we have the graphic for lap 85 points and then the actual finish. Ryan Blaney, so I want to talk about, he was +5 at lap 185 before Austin Cindric was spun. Blaney's leaving Talladega +25. He gained 20 points from that. Daniel Suarez, we didn't even talk about him yet. He was -42 for his little goofy move he made early in the race. He gained 22 points. He's only -20.
That's doable for him at the Roval. That's
much
so
more doable
for him, honestly.
And I mean, look at Austin Cindric. He was obviously going to potentially win in advance. He goes from first all the way down to 11th, -29. Joey Logano led a lot of laps. He was +9. He ends up -13. Huge changes in the playoff grid before and after that crash. Someone I want to mention too, Zach, is Tyler Reddick. He won Talladega in the spring, felt like a non-factor. He goes from -5 at lap 185 to being +14.
I think the Toyotas really just struggle.
Yeah, that's Christopher Bell too. Christopher Bell is a non-factor.
It's their lack of numbers, and they just get junked out on those pit cycles, or they just can't keep up on the pit cycles. I mean, they just can't. And like there was that one moment where, oh my God, what stage was it? I think it was like it was either stage 1 or stage 2 where, literally, I think Ty, or no, it was early in the race. Like Ty Gibbs decided to not go with Hamlin, and he made it 4 wide, and Hamlin dropped to the back. So like it costed Hamlin some stage points yesterday. But it's just that was the only time I really saw Toyotas yesterday, to be honest.
Yeah. And speak of Denny Hamlin, was -17.
Oh my God.
Stayed in the back. His Atlanta strat worked this time. It's minus 17 before the crash. Ends up plus 30.
I was so concerned for Denny.
Me too. It was not looking good.
I tweeted, "This is a disaster."
Because he's not good at road courses.
I mean, it's his worst. That's his weakness in the Cup Series. He says it himself, and I don't even know. I mean, he got wrecked in lap 1 at Watkins Glen, so whatever. But my thing is, what is my thing? Oh, that strategy. Sorry, my brain is fried.
Take your time.
That wreck with Blaney, Hamlin got some damage from it.
Yeah.
So they didn't know until like later that damage was really slowing his car down. He said on his podcast he messed up the pit cycle somehow. So Denny ended up literally 19 seconds behind the pack. Like, yeah, I believe by himself. Maybe he was chilling with BJ McLeod back there. Did we talk about Suarez yet? We got to talk about that in a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, we did. We did?
Oh,
a little bit.
I don't remember.
We just like touched on it when we got to this part. What do you have to say about Suarez?
Because I have to call him an idiot for that. Anyways,
okay.
I don't care. My thing with Hamlin is it's funny because like he unintentionally did his Atlanta strategy again, but it actually worked this time. And it made sense on why it worked because you see these types of wrecks at Talladega. You don't see them at Atlanta. I just wanted to say that.
Yep.
So he picked the wrong strategy. He didn't pick. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Suarez. What do you have to say about Suarez? Because
he's an idiot.
Yeah. You texted me he was flop of the week when he did that. Is he still your flop of the week?
He's so dumb. He's so, and it's still. I mean, like, yes, he was not going to get stage 1 points, but he took himself completely out of getting stage 2 points.
Yeah.
When his teammate Ross Chastain was leading and stuff, like this just really sucked for him.
He's so lucky that big crash happened. I think he'd have to win the Roval.
He's so lucky
that didn't happen.
He's so lucky that his car didn't get more wrecked than him hitting the wall. Like, I
thought, Zach, that he had all 4 flat tires and he was going to be out via the DVP.
Right.
Rule. And I was texting you like, oh gosh, he ain't moving. His car is not moving.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. But he did get back to the pits all right.
What I was concerned about is that, not concerned. I was really glad to see the field bail on him because he was doing something stupid. I love to see the whole field was like, no, we're not going to help you. No, that you did something stupid. We're not helping you.
So
crazy.
Suarez was in this position because he had to do a drive-through penalty at the start of the race.
Yeah, for some inspection thing with the roof.
Yeah.
Something with the roof.
I feel like if this was a spring race, he wouldn't have tried to do what he did. But
didn't Larson get this penalty in the spring?
Feel
maybe
like
it was last year. I don't know.
Maybe. That sounds familiar. But Suarez, man, I struggle to defend that move. I really do. Like you said, it was really goofy.
Props to BJ McLeod for. Well, I don't even think BJ had a choice because like there's no way he can break in time.
Yeah. For audio people, let's kind of run through the points. William Byron is locked into the round of 8, by the way.
That's impressive.
Yeah. That's impressive. He's gotten a lot of points this round already.
I mean,
Bell's plus 57.
He can go to the Roval and like just go for the win, which is I assume what their strategy would be.
Yeah, just get 5 more points or even the stage points. Bell's plus 57, Larson plus 52. Much better situation for Larson. Yeah, Zach?
And can I say something about Bell and Larson? Because, it's very unlikely that someone's going to get 60 points at the Roval because of, stage flipping. Bell and Larson are basically locked in.
I'd say they'll probably lock in stage 1 or 2.
Yeah. Well, I guess if there's a new winner, then it's a little bit tighter, I guess. But still, they're very comfortable. Glad to see leaving Talladega as a Larson fan.
And then Hamlin is plus 30, as we said, was minus 17 before the crash.
God's favorite
Huge
child
for him.
Hamlin. God's favorite child.
Yeah, his favorite child who's not a champion. Alex Bowman continuing his strong playoff runs plus 26.
NASCAR manipulation. Yep. Here we go.
Blaney's plus 25, Reddick 14 up, Elliott 13 up. Then below the cut line right now is Logano, Suarez, Cindric, Briscoe.
Man, I hate that for Cindric and Logano. I hate that so much.
Same.
Because they had that race under control.
Cindric was probably the best car yesterday.
And Logano calls the wreck. Like, honestly, I mean, it really, it's just that line got organized and they had to come back organized. Like, and it just too much. I get it. But, man. Joey's got to feel some type of way about that. Maybe he doesn't think it's his fault, but I don't know.
So as we go into the Roval, Logano's 13 out. What are we thinking? Who's going to get eliminated? Because I really don't know. I feel like Logano is hard to count out, and he's trying to keep up his even year streak.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to count him out. Here's what I think's going to happen. Because it's hard to imagine anyone busting into that current 8. That again, that looks like a really solid round of 8. Isn't that the round of 8 that we thought Logano was definitely going to get through?
Yeah.
Listen, I think Daniel Suarez has a really good shot to jump above the cut line on points. Cindric, I think that's too many points. Would you say Cindric is must win?
Cindric and Briscoe, yeah.
Because I think Suarez, because Trackhouse was really fast at Watkins Glen, if Suarez can like win both stages, I mean that's a 20-point gap right there.
I will say with Cindric's been really good about stage points in the playoffs, and he has a history of being good on road courses. I don't know if I've seen that this year.
29 points is too much, though.
I know. Even if he swept the stages, he'd be -9, excluding like running position. So it is a tall ask, but it's not impossible. And
I am curious if the 99 team will go for stage points or if they think they have a fast enough car to where they can think they can win. But I feel like with them, it is, and especially, again, this new Roval layout, there's another little new hairpin. There could be chaos. Maybe you definitely want to get stage points in case you get wrecked out or something. Maybe other guys will get wrecked out. I mean, Suarez, I think he could jump the cut line just because I have confidence in his performance. Logano, I mean, he's won a road course race before, but like, this isn't really their strength. Talladega was their strength. If you look on the left side of the graphic, he was above the cut line and fine position to have, conservative day at the Roval, get stage points, survive, stay above the cut line. This does not make me feel comfortable for Logano, and I hate to say that because I really do want them to go far in the playoffs. But
the thing that concerns me, Zach, is that you have Reddick, for the guys below the cut line, you have Reddick and Elliott, who are both notoriously pretty good on the road courses, right?
Reddick? Where was Reddick at Watkins Glen?
But that's what I was going to say. Tyler Reddick might just suck because he might just
suck
out to lunch.
He really might just suck. That's the problem. Chase Elliott, that's different because Hendrick has their stuff together. Not gonna lie. Maybe not Chase isn't like the best road course racer anymore, but he has his stuff together.
But if I'm below the cut line, I'm hoping Reddick just does not show up. Right? Like I'm hoping it's kind of the Reddick of late and not past.
If any change happens, I think it's Suarez in, Reddick out. That's what I see.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah, really. Really.
I think Logano might get in over Reddick.
No.
Well,
maybe. Actually, I could see that, but
I think you're way overestimating Daniel Suarez. I don't think he's going to do that.
I don't know about Logano, though. I don't think, because
if Logano gets solid, like, fifth in the stages, he's already down to -3. And then if Reddick gets no stage points,
I don't have confidence in Logano. How did he do at Watkins Glen? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember what he did at Watkins
It's going to be interesting to follow here.
I don't know.
And
he finished 15th at the Glen.
Thank you to NASCAR for this graphic. This is a very nice graphic, and I love this little layout we did. This was nice for our video people.
Yeah. If I can figure out.
Zach, are you looking up where Logano finished?
No. Well, 15th, but I don't know what he did during the stages because.
Oh, okay. So.
I don't know.
We'll move on to the T. There's a lot of T. 2311 and Front Row Motorsports have sued NASCAR, and they have hired attorney Jeffrey Kessler, who has previously won cases against the NFL and has gotten equal pay in women's soccer. And Kessler said, of all the leagues he has taken on, quote, none have been as egregious as NASCAR, end quote.
I had a fun time at dinner this weekend with my family. Someone asked me, what's been going on with NASCAR lately? And I looked at them. I looked at this and I said,
how much time you got?
Girl, how much time you got? I was like, so Michael Jordan owns a race team, and that team is suing NASCAR. I basically say Michael Jordan is suing NASCAR.
You just spilled all the tea, and you're like, just blew all their minds.
And I felt really smart when I tried to explain it. I was like, what did I say? I was like, oh, well, there's this charter agreement that, the teams all sign, and it gives them money from the TV deal. And two teams did not like the deal. I explained to my family how they only had 6 hours to sign it. So that was some juicy tea at the dinner table the other night.
Yeah. We had talked about this a few weeks ago, or whenever the news initially dropped, and we had talked about what if, not when it dropped. We talked about the possibility of this happening, is what I mean. But we questioned, would NASCAR really want to go in a court battle with Michael Jordan?
Well, we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out how much they want or don't want to go into this.
Yeah. This is not going to be pretty. I imagine it's going to be a very long process.
I got popcorn ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this. Honestly, Alex, I'm ready for this to get ugly.
It might
maybe I shouldn't say that as a NASCAR fan. I don't care. I'm ready for this to get ugly.
This is going to change the sport one way or another, I believe.
I love what people have been saying this weekend or this week on Twitter, that this is going to make Denny Hamlin one of the most influential figures in NASCAR history.
Definitely.
And, well, Michael Jordan, too.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. So cool. And I agree with that so much. And I love the fact that not only 23XI, Front Row Motorsports of all teams have the same balls that Hendrick Motorsports, that Rick Hendrick and Richard Childress don't have, that Brad Keselowski doesn't have, that Joe Gibbs doesn't have, to stand up to NASCAR. And I love that. I appreciate that. And because of that, I hope they win. Because, I think most fans should hope the teams win. Of course, there are some NASCAR bootlickers, whatever. Fair enough. But, we want what's best for the teams in the sport. The teams are the ones doing all the hard work that put on the show for us. But I don't know. Technically, I don't have a horse in the race, so.
I think just by definition, you want the smaller group here to win because NASCAR, it is a monopoly. And that is kind of what 23XI is arguing here in the case in Front Row.
They can't just go race somewhere else.
Right.
This is the rules they have to play by, and the rules are not fair. And
I made a joke. I made a joke to someone that IndyCar should join in on the lawsuit because they restrict IndyCar from racing on half the ovals in the country. Or not half, nearly all of them. So IndyCar should just hop in on this, but they won't because Penske, but
Penske too. He didn't have the balls to stand up to NASCAR. That's crazy. I just love how Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, and Bob Jenkins, the Taco Bell guy, have the balls.
The Taco Bell guy.
And real quick, geez, my ADHD is so bad today. I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay, because we're gonna talk about Sammy Smith now, Zach.
Oh no, but I wanted to remember. I'm really upset I forgot. I will.
It's okay.
Oh, that's frustrating.
You can tell me. You can tell me later. It's okay.
That's frustrating.
Oh. So Sammy Smith won the Xfinity race, Zach, and he made the next round of the playoffs down there. He'll be joined by a strong junior motorsports lineup next year. But Zach, you and I are fans of Sammy Smith. We greatly like him. We were very excited.
Fan. I'm a huge fan of Sammy Smith. I love him.
I like him.
I'm going to say it right now. He's cute. He's fine. He looks so good. He had that heart stopper moment with Ty Gibbs at Chicago last year. I am in love with this man. I am so happy he won in the 8 car nonetheless. Go Junior in the 8 car
Junebug.
at Talladega of all places. If that thing was painted red, the rednecks would have torn down the grandstands. I'm telling you what. If that thing was red and sponsored by some kind of alcohol, oh man, you would have never made it out of there. Oh my goodness.
Well, Sammy Smith is going to be confirmed this past week by Connor Zilisch in the 88 car, and Carson Kvapil. I said Kvapil right, Zach.
Kvapil's in the 1 car, I believe.
In the 1?
Yeah. Which so sponsored by Bass Pro Shops, I believe. So Martin Truex Jr. vibes, I hope. I want to see a Martin Truex Jr. throwback.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want their primary scheme to look like a Truex car. Like,
so
black
are they getting rid of the 9?
That's what I assume, which makes sense because the 9 was always a Chase Elliott thing, and they just kind of continued it. So what I thought might happen is maybe like Sammy Smith gets the 9, and then if Dale Jr. changes his mind and wants to do a part-time race, he has the 8.
Oh.
I
think he wants the 8. I think he wants the 8 though.
Well, didn't he get that trademark back for the font?
It is currently available.
Oh,
I don't know if he's like pursuing it.
Well, he should pursue it because that would be.
I imagine he is behind the scenes. We just don't know about it officially.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be really cool. Speak of Connor Zilisch, though, WeatherTech will be his sponsor in the Xfinity Series, and WeatherTech will also be sponsoring SVG in the Cup Series, also in the 88 for Trackhouse. WeatherTech is going to be doing 36 races between Cup and Xfinity, so kind of a full season. Pretty cool, but Zach, you and I were a little disappointed because we were hoping that it was going to be Red Bull as the sponsor instead of WeatherTech.
They're a huge sponsor for what Connor Zilisch has been doing, like a personal brand sponsor, which is a big deal. And it's just sad that Red Bull has just not gotten back into NASCAR because, like, they're in other motorsports, right? Like, at first I thought, is this just a like since Red Bull's so into F1, they don't want to like sponsor something in a competitor, but I don't think that's true since they have like Rallycross and other stuff. I'm going to put the pictures up because I want to mention something real quick. I love, not really, I think it's hilarious how the Xfinity car has Chevrolet on the front since the Camaro is discontinued. So they just added Chevrolet on the front. Of the logo's
already there. I don't understand that.
Yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, so like, it looks so much better with it clean. Hopefully, it's just a weird render thing that Chevrolet won't actually enforce, but it's so stupid. And I love, because I was thinking that they would go with this Trackhouse font for the 88 in Xfinity, but they didn't. I was thinking they would.
That's junior. That's junior font. I know it's Hendrick font, but it's junior font.
Yeah. I was expecting for them to do, because that's what they did with Shane at Colleague this year. Like it looks like a Trackhouse car with the number and stuff, but that's whatever. I mean, the paint schemes are a little. I like the paint scheme. It's just I don't know, something's missing about it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's fine. I do hope that we see a Red Bull car though with them because their helmets are sponsored by Red Bull, and like you said, they have a personal sponsorship with them. Both of them do.
They look cool.
It'd be cool. I'd love to see the Red Bull schemes come back. They were so good.
I'm excited to see all the other paint schemes. I bet Shane's going to get some big sponsors, I feel like, because he's a star. He is a star. Yeah. I mean, he really is. Connor, too, honestly. He's already had some banger paint schemes.
Yeah.
Like that one he ran at You were at the Kansas race, right? Wasn't he at that yellow car he ran? Oh, my God. I'm in love with that car. That's a pretty awesome car.
Yeah. And while we're talking about SVG, he came from the Australian V8 Supercar, Zack, and they're in the news.
Oh my God!
This week,
girl,
what?
This news. I'm okay. Listen. So
I thought you remember what you were going to say earlier. I got excited.
No, I wish. I've been thinking about it since then. I still can't remember. I think that is crazy that the Australian V8 supercars are actually having playoffs. They're adding playoffs. That is insane to me.
Yeah, they're calling them the finals or something. Same thing.
I'm trying to find the graphic. Oh, someone had a really nice graphic of it. Can't find it. But it's basically like they have a little regular season. It ends with their 2 endurance races, which I think is kind of cool because it's kind of like how we ended the regular season with the Southern 500 this year. They're ending the regular season with the Bathurst 1000, which I think is kind of cool in a way because it's, again, kind of like how we ended it with Darlington. And then, so there are some things I love about this. I love that it's 10 cars, a 10-car playoff. Great size. NASCAR proved that it was a really good size. You're only taking the 10 best cars. I don't know how many cars are normally in a supercars race, but 10 cars. That's great to me. Okay?
Yeah.
The weird part about it is that it's like basically 3 championship races. Like instead of having a 3-race round, it's just one race. You eliminate, I guess, the bottom 3 finishers of those guys and then do the same the next race. And then you have a final 4th championship at wherever. I can't find the graphic. And I think that's kind of nice because it's simple. I think NASCAR's playoff format, where it fails sometimes, and is how complicated it can be to understand. I mean, Shane Van Gisbergen even admitted he had to do research, like legitimate research, to understand the playoff format. The fact that there aren't playoff points might end up kind of biting them in the butt a little bit because we know how good playoff points are, to make it.
Well, that's what happened with the original playoff.
Yeah.
Is not having them kind of hurt.
But for some reason, I like how they branded it. I don't know why the finals. It's only for 3 races. It is a little dumb, but I wonder if that was in response to not only maybe, more Australian attention on NASCAR because of SVG, but also I believe there was some championship controversy last year where, like, wasn't it SVG like playing team orders or something? Maybe it was a different team.
I don't follow supercars.
Didn't we talk about it on here? There was some like
we might have.
Someone pulled over on the final straightaway and gave their teammate a few extra points.
I don't remember.
Maybe it was Shane's teammate. I think it was Shane's teammate. So,
but yeah, if you're a fan of supercars, you have that to look forward to.
One more thing. Of all motorsports to copy NASCAR's playoffs, which I think is just a crazy thing in itself. Like someone finally copied NASCAR's idea. Well, motocross, they have playoffs, don't they now?
Yeah, Supercross has playoffs. They combined their spring and summer seasons, and then they have a playoff to determine an overall champion between the two. So they're still separate champions.
Okay, that's different. That's a little bit
then
different.
They like merge. Yeah.
Because that's almost what different. Like it kind of almost seems like. It almost seems like an extra 3 races, even though that's not what it is for supercars. It almost seems like an extra 3 races. Because
I'd say it's closer to supercars is actually, or it's closer to supercrosses, to be honest.
Yeah. But so I was expecting Formula One to copy NASCAR's playoffs format first. But is that crazy to say? Because I know,
no, because I mean they have sprints and stuff now.
Because they've been getting into a lot of the entertainment business, and I thought F1 was going to NASCARify their championship, especially with the Max Verstappen dominance. Now at this year with Lando maybe getting close to Max, maybe that's definitely not in the consideration anymore, and just with how F1 is, and there's still a lot of purity in F1, probably would never happen. But I thought I could see F1 doing it before I saw supercars doing it. I don't know if anyone else would agree, but
yeah.
So that's all I wanted to say.
I also wonder with supercars if a lot of their drivers are leaving. McLaughlin, SVG both left.
They're stars.
Have come and tried.
Superstars. Yeah,
have come to try NASCAR. It's just kind of like, is this kind of a response to like maintain fan interest? Is it to try and grab NASCAR fan interest?
Try to grab
the country world.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that's a point. Try to grab NASCAR fan interest, even though, again, I'm not watching you at 1 a.m. There's no way. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, Zach, are we ready to get into fantasy?
I don't know why I sighed. I won. Well, I didn't win.
You almost won. Your pick was Brad Keselowski.
My track record at Talladega is amazing. I now have so many runner-ups and wins at Talladega.
You now have a 3-point lead over me, so I could tie with a win.
We've been going back and forth. by the way.
I had Logano, who was up there, finished 33rd after all that. Zach, we only have 5 races to go.
I am so nervous because if you get a win, you are so back in this. I'm trying to do my best to just.
I have a pick. I'm ready to go. Charlotte Roval.
I'm getting my pick. New layout. Got that hairpin in the infield now.
Different.
The last chicane's a bit more of a tighter kind of turn or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm ready when you are.
Okay, I am also ready. So 3, 2, 1. I am trying to pick. Damn it! Oh, I wanted to pick SVG so bad. We both matched on SVG. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it!
Take it back. Let me have him.
Listen, Charlotte Roval races a lot like a street course, I feel like, with all those walls.
I didn't think you were going to do that.
I had a feeling. That's why I was really nervous.
You know where my flaw was? Ending the T on the supercar stuff. You were thinking about him.
No, I already had him number 1 before the show even started. Don't even think that was why.
I think he's actually going to win it because our NASCAR drivers aren't going to know how to handle the new corners. This is going to be all new to him anyway. So
true. I didn't even think about that.
Because it's going to balance out. Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, I can't believe you picked him. That sucks.
I can. Really? Actually, I don't know what I want to do for this second pick. Actually, yeah, I do. Never mind.
Okay, I got one. Let's do it.
All right, I also have one. So 3, 2, 1. I'm trying to pick Christopher Buescher, and Alex is trying to pick
Kyle Larson.
Huh.
That's a good picture of him that I used.
That's a really cute picture of him. I guess.
You guess.
I don't know. Yeah, he's been pretty good at road courses this year. He won Sonoma. I don't know. Where was he at Watkins Glen?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
You ask all these questions, and I'm like, am I supposed to prepare this?
Well, my thing is with the 5 team, I feel like they're definitely sacrificing one of the stages to get points just to lock themselves in.
Let's see.
That's why I'm like, I didn't want to pick any of the playoff guys unless it was like
Larson's
either Byron
12th at Watkins Glen.
Like maybe pick Byron. Like I was maybe considering picking Byron or like maybe Suarez or Briscoe or whatever, but I don't know. Larson, I don't know what their strategy is going to be on Sunday. That's my thing. I didn't know because I mean, as we saw at Watkins Glen, if you're flipping the stages, you're probably not winning.
Larson will probably finish like decently though. So,
girl, you need to win. I don't think you need to.
Well, I tried picking SVG.
Okay, and I picked the guy that beat SVG. So Christopher Buescher, best road course racer in the world. He's going to win at the Roval again. His average finish at the Roval is really good.
Hey, Zach, who won the Kansas race? Who won the Kansas race in the spring?
Chris Buescher won.
No, Chris Buescher did not win Kansas in the spring.
No,
wrong
Chris
answer.
Buescher has the best average finish on road courses in 2024.
That is a good stat.
And I believe, Alex, we are not in Kansas anymore.
Okay.
You are, but I'm not.
I'm not in Kansas.
Actually, you're not in Kansas either. You're in Missouri, so.
I am. So with that,
Kyle Larson's getting cooked this weekend. But not too cooked. Not too cooked. I still need him to get across.
You be careful what you say. That's your fave driver right there.
Sometimes. Not yesterday. I had my favorite driver pushing my fantasy pick, and he couldn't get it done. I was so disappointed.
Dang.
I was going to be screaming if Brad won. Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's our fantasy picks. IMSA is also on this weekend. Petit Le Mans on Saturday at Road Atlanta. It's my second favorite IMSA race behind the Rolex.
I think I like it more than Sebring. I like it more than Sebring.
Me too. Yeah,
I think it's because it's the championship. It's like their Southern 500. That's what it feels like.
Yep.
That's what it feels
so
like.
So we have that to look forward to. And did you remember what you were going to say earlier? No?
About front row and 2311 and... Oh, I do remember what I was going to say now. Okay. It is good for the teams to get more money, to be healthier, because if the teams have more money, there's less of these random sponsors, more consistent sponsors, right? Sponsors don't have to pay as much to get into the sport. That's better for everybody. And teams can focus on paying more money to hire actual drivers, not to look for drivers with sponsors, not to look for, especially in like the lower series, not to look for drivers with,
Right.
you know, with money. So that's what I was going to
Yeah.
say.
And maybe that's why 2311's suing, because it looks like they're going to be signing Riley Herbst. So
no way, right? No way. Oh,
that's what Bob Pockris and Jeff Gluck were saying at the Kansas tweet up. So anyway, with that, we'll wrap up this episode. We have more of a funny comment rather than a kind comment this week. It's from Dylan McCollum. Last week, we were supposed to have our friend Jackson Todd on, and Dylan said in the comments, "Rip Jackson Todd, I loved you in the NASCAR on NBC intro." That's an inside joke. If you know, you know.
Specifically the one from like, was it 2020? I think 2020, 2021.
I think so. Yeah. If you know, you know. Rate us 5 stars on
you'll get it.
Apple and Spotify. We hit 500 followers over on TikTok. Thank you for that, you guys.
Oh my God. Yes. 500, like the Indy 500. That's crazy.
Yeah. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. We're like 30 or so from 400 over there. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/gayracingpod. You can follow us on socials at gayracingpod, at DreamyZackRacing, and at Newgaden.
Yep. So we will be back next week. Sorry. We will be back next week to talk about NASCAR at the Roval, Petit Le Mans, the IMSA WeatherTech finale.
I don't know if he'll be as well dressed next week. We were feeling a little fancy.
I don't know.
Very handsome.
Well, listen, if Chris Buescher wins, I will be very dressed up.
Okay.
So, Chris
you know,
Buescher.
wear your Larson beating Buescher shirt. That'd be fitting.
I wish Larson would beat somebody, and I wish it was me. Anyways, I make sure you do everything Alex said to do. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.